Recall Sutram 3467, Kartarikrit, which we have of course studied and used repeatedly. That Sutram simply says that any Krit affix, any affix prescribed in the Adhikara of Krutating, which starts from 3193, any Krit affix denotes the agent of the action, the one who's the doer of the action. Of course, this is a general rule. We also seen an exception to that, which is 3470, Tayoreva Kritya Kalarthaha. We've also studied 3472. Katyartha Karma Shlisha Shing Sthasa Vasa Jana Ruha Jiryativjascha. We've also studied that rule. But the default is Kartari Krit. That's the pivotal rule, Kartari Krit 3467, which says that any Krit affix as a starting point, as a default in general, denotes the agent of the action, denoted by the verbal root, of course. Also recall that this Sutram Unadayo Bahulam 331 belongs to the Adhikar of Krudating, which starts from 3193. So even though the Unadi affixes are in an appendix to the Ashtadhyayi, by the force of Unadayo Bahulam 331 being in the Adhikar of Krudating, all the Unadi affixes get the Krit Sanya. This we have noticed before. So now what does that mean? That barring any special rules, the Unadi Pratyayaha may only be used in the sense of the agent of the action. But Panini does have some specific rules in the case of the Unadi affixes, which is what we are going to study now. And we are going to go and see the Sutram 3475, which says Tabhyamanyatronadayaha. Tabhyamanyatronadayaha. But before we go to that Sutram, let us take a look at 3474, which says Bhimadayo Padane. Bhimadayo Padane. It's a simple Sutram, and what it says is that Bhimadaya Shabda Apadane Nipatyante, meaning that the affixes occurring in a few words, in a small class of words, such as Bhima, etc., are in the ablative sense. These terms Apadanam, etc., we are going to study a little bit later on. For the time being, let's just give a basic meaning of Apadanam, which means ablation, which means detachment, removal, or separation from someone or from something. These are the simple meanings of ablation, separation. For example, vrikshad phalam patati, the fruit falls from the tree, so we say vrikshad. So we will study this topic in detail when we look at the Karaka Prakaranam, but for the time being we can just use the English word separation, or the more technical word ablation, to stand for apadanam. So let's take an example here. It says that Vibhetyasmaditi bhimaha. So he from whom, that is the ablation, separation, he from whom one is afraid. So Bhimaha doesn't mean the one who is afraid. It's not the agent, it's not the doer of the action, action being to be afraid. This word Bhimaha is derived using the Unadi Sutram 1.145, Bhyaha Shugva. Again, we don't go into derivation right now in detail. That's not the point of the current sutram. We will look at that a little bit later. But the point is that this word Bhimaha, Pradipadikam Bhima, derived using the Unadi Sutram 1.145, Bhyaha Shukva, it denotes not the agent of the action, but it denotes from whom the action is taking place. So it means he from whom one is afraid. So someone is afraid from him. In English we would say afraid of him, but here technically it is afraid from him. So Bhima is not the one who is afraid, but he is from whom someone else is afraid. This meaning would not be possible unless we had this sutra, because Kartari Krit only allows the Krit affixes to be used in the sense of the agent of the action. But here we are using the sense of ablation or separation. But that is only in the case of this small class of words, Bhima, etc., and not a general prescription. We are going to study the sutram Tabhyamanyatronadayaha 3475, which is going to tell us that the Unadi affixes may be used to denote any participant of the action except the recipient, and except in the sense of ablation. But by this Sutram 3474, Panini makes an exception for this small class of words, Bhima, etc., is that these words may be derived using affixes which denote the sense of ablation or separation.